Hello, my beautiful friends, and welcome back to Grace Over 50, the place where we celebrate mature beauty, confident aging, and the quiet power of women who know who they are. If you've ever looked in the mirror and felt like something just doesn't feel right anymore, even though you haven't changed a thing, you're not alone. Maybe your makeup is the same, your clothes still fit. But somehow that sparkle you used to see has dulled. And quite often, without realizing it, that change is sitting right on top of your head. Let's talk about the bob haircut. It's timeless, practical, and beloved by women of all ages, especially those of us in our 50s and beyond. It seems like the safe, stylish choice. But here's something few people will tell you. If your bob is cut the wrong way, it can actually age your face, drag your features down, and take away from the elegance you already have. In today's video, we're going to uncover the 5 most common bob haircut mistakes women over 50 often make, sometimes without even realizing it. But more importantly, I'll walk you through how to fix each one with simple, graceful adjustments that will elevate your look, restore natural lift, and bring softness and light back to your face. This isn't just about looking younger. It's about looking more like you, the version of yourself that feels vibrant, empowered, and effortlessly put together. So if you've been thinking about updating your hairstyle or wondering why your current cut just doesn't feel as flattering as it used to, this video is for you. And if you're new here, welcome. I invite you to hit subscribe and join our community of beautiful, wise, endlessly inspiring women. This is a space where we talk about everything from beauty and wellness to self-worth and personal style, always with heart, honesty, and a touch of grace. If this topic resonates with you, please give it a like and don't forget to save the video so you can revisit it before your next salon appointment, or share it with a friend who might need it too. Now take a deep breath, pour yourself a warm cup of tea, and settle in. Because today we're not just talking about hair. We're talking about how a small, intentional change can bring you back to the radiant, confident woman you've always been. Let's begin. Let's begin with something most people won't say out loud. It's not always age that dims your glow. Sometimes, it's the quiet ways your personal style stops keeping up with who you've become. And often, one of the most overlooked culprits is the haircut you've trusted for years. The bob, it's clean, it's easy, it feels familiar. For many of us, it became a kind of signature, a go-to, especially after 40. It may have come after a big life shift, a divorce, a new career, a moment where you whispered to yourself, I need a fresh start, and for a while it worked. It made you feel polished, put together, in control. But here's the thing. Your face changes, your energy evolves, and your hair should too. As we age, our features soften, our jawline isn't as sharp, hair thins just a little. Gravity begins to pull gently, yes, but it shows. And suddenly, what once looked fresh starts to feel flat. What once lifted your face now weighs it down. What once complemented your features begins to compete with them. But we hold on because it's safe. Because no one told us the truth. That safety, when it comes to style, isn't always flattering. That sometimes the most subtle change can make all the difference. So if you've ever stood in front of the mirror and felt off, not sad, not old, just not quite yourself anymore. It might not be your skin, or your smile, or your eyes, it might just be your hair, but not in a way that needs to be fixed. In a way that needs to evolve gently, gracefully with you, because the bob isn't the enemy, the wrong version of it is. A beautiful haircut isn't about chasing youth, it's about alignment. It's about having a style that lifts, frames, and reveals the woman you are right now, not the woman you used to be. That's why in this video, we're not tossing the bob aside. We're refining it. We're bringing it back to life. And I'll show you how, with thoughtful, precise adjustments that don't demand a full transformation, but instead unlock the softness, the strength, and the beauty already within you. Because sometimes all it takes is one gentle change to feel radiant again. Let's begin. Now that we understand the deeper reason your haircut might not be working for you anymore, let's look at the most common mistakes women over 50 make with the bob. Not out of carelessness, But because no one ever taught us that a simple cut isn't always the most flattering. The good news, each one of these mistakes has a gentle, graceful solution. No big transformations, no edgy trends. Just small refinements that make all the difference. Let's begin. The first mistake is wearing a one-length heavy bob. At first glance, it looks polished, clean, easy to maintain, but here's what really happens. When the hair is cut all at one length with no layers, no graduation, it creates a hard, horizontal line. That solid shape weighs down the face. It mirrors the natural pull of gravity. And instead of adding softness or movement, it creates stiffness. Like a helmet. As we age, our faces lose a bit of structure and volume. So a flat haircut exaggerates what we're trying to soften: lines, sagging, or fullness near the jawline. It can also make thinning hair look even thinner by clumping it into blocks. And yet many stylists still recommend it. Why? Because it's easy to cut, but what's easy for them isn't always flattering for you. Here's how to fix it without giving up the bob. Ask your stylist for internal layers. They don't change the outer shape much, but they remove hidden weight from inside. This lets the hair move, breathe, and flow naturally. Next, add a slight bevel at the ends. Just a gentle inward curve that allows the hair to follow your bone structure rather than fighting it. And if your hair's very thick or dense, ask for soft point cutting or texturizing, not to thin it out, but to break up the solid line. Finally, add face framing layers. Even the most subtle lift around the cheekbones can draw the eye upward, soften the jawline, and open the face beautifully. These aren't dramatic changes, they're refinements. But the result? You'll look brighter, more lifted, more alive, because your hair is no longer pulling you down, it's holding you up. Let's move to the second mistake. The reverse bob, the one short in the front, long in the back. It was bold in the early 2000s. Edgy, trendy, but for mature faces, it works against your natural beauty. Why? Because it pulls all the visual weight downward. The eye follows the line of your hair, straight to the neck and jaw. And for most women over 50, those are areas we'd rather soften, not highlight. It also shortens the appearance of your neck and disrupts your natural face balance, especially if your face is round, square, or heart-shaped. And perhaps most importantly, it feels dated. Here's a better way. Instead of angling the bob backward, reverse the reverse. Let the nape stay slightly shorter, then gently slope the length forward toward the chin. This shape frames your face softly. It draws the eye up and in, and when it follows your natural jawline, it highlights your cheekbones and elongates the neck. You don't need a dramatic slant. Just a soft angle that creates movement and grace. Add internal layering at the crown for lift so your hair rises at the top rather than falling flat at the bottom. The result? A bob that moves with you, flatters you, and looks timeless, never trendy. Now, mistake number 3, the overly dramatic angled bob. This one's tricky because it can feel exciting at first. That strong slant, that sharp geometry. But here's the problem: too much drama creates disconnect. The back looks like one haircut. The front looks like another. It pulls all the attention to the lower half of your face, where many of us carry softness or changes in skin tone or volume we'd prefer to downplay. And once that angle starts too far back on the head, it collapses the shape completely. The solution? Keep the angle gentle and start it just behind the ear, not from the crown. This creates harmony between the back and front. The cut flows rather than slices. Keep the front length just below the chin, no lower. And add light face framing layers to soften the edge. You can still have movement and modern shape without the harsh contrast. The fourth mistake is the high nape bob. At first, it seems sculpted, sleek, stylish. But when the back is cut too high, it breaks the visual flow of your hair. Instead of a graceful curve, you get a boxy, disconnected shape. The head looks square, the neck looks shorter, and it exaggerates the heaviness in the front. This cut was designed for young women with long, slender necks and thick, dense hair. It's not forgiving on most mature heads. Instead, ask your stylist to lower the nape slightly, keeping it below the occipital bone. Then use graduated layers to add fullness and shape without that sharp stacked effect. Blend the front and back smoothly. No abrupt cutoffs, no visual cliffs. You want the eye to travel in one flowing line from crown to nape to chin without interruption. And finally, the fifth mistake, layering only the back and leaving the front completely flat. It's a subtle one, but it creates imbalance. When the back is airy and layered, but the front is heavy and straight, the weight falls directly over your face. It makes your cheeks look fuller, it hides your eyes, and as the cut grows out, it becomes harder and harder to style. The fix is simple. Add soft, face-framing layers in the front, start around the cheekbone and blend downward. These layers open your face, lift your features, and bring light into your expression. Use internal layering to reduce bulk without thinning the hair. And most importantly, balance the front with the back. Let your haircut feel like one continuous, beautiful movement, not two separate pieces glued together. Because harmony in your hair creates harmony in your face, and harmony is what flatters us most. Let me tell you a story. Her name isn't important because in some way she might be you, or me, or someone we've both known. She'd worn the same bob haircut for years, not because she loved it, but because it was easy. It was appropriate, and because after a while it became part of how people recognized her. She'd go in for a trim every few months. Same request, same stylist, same results. At first it felt neat, clean, grown up. But over time, she began to shrink inside of it. It's strange how something so small, like the shape of your hair, can begin to reflect how you feel about your place in the world. She stopped taking pictures, stopped trying new lipstick, stopped meeting her own eyes in the mirror, and yet she didn't realize it was the haircut. Because how could something so familiar be the thing holding her back? Until one day she walked into a new salon. Not because she was feeling brave, but because her old stylist had moved away. She sat in the chair, quiet, guarded. The new stylist didn't start with scissors. She started with a question. Do you want your haircut to lift your face or hold it down? The woman paused. No one had ever asked her that before. Not just about hair, about anything. She didn't answer right away. She just looked at herself. And for the first time in a long time, she wondered, what would it feel like to choose a version of myself that rises? The cut wasn't dramatic, just a few gentle layers, a softened nape, a subtle bevel, but something shifted. She walked out of that salon standing taller, not because she looked younger, but because she finally looked more like herself again. That evening, she texted a friend she hadn't seen in years. She wore earrings she used to love. She caught her reflection in the mirror and smiled without flinching. It wasn't the haircut, really. It was the decision to stop disappearing inside of something that no longer served her. And maybe you've been there too. Holding onto a shape that once fit you because letting it go feels unfamiliar. But there's nothing wrong with change, especially when the change is soft, subtle, thoughtful, loving. Because what she discovered that day in the chair is what I hope you'll remember too. A good haircut doesn't just frame your face. It reminds you that you are still becoming, still growing, still worthy of being seen exactly as you are. So, what have we learned today? We didn't just talk about hair. We talked about the quiet power of self-awareness, about the weight we sometimes carry not on our shoulders but around our face, and how a single, thoughtful change can help us return to the woman we've always been. Because aging isn't about disappearing. It's about refining, about choosing with more care, more clarity, more grace. And yes, your haircut can be part of that. It can lift you. Frame your favorite features, help you walk a little taller without anyone knowing exactly why, but even more than that. It can become a symbol, a reminder that you are still allowed to evolve, to let go of what no longer serves you, to step into a version of yourself that feels more honest, more radiant, more you. If today's video spoke to you, if you found yourself nodding or quietly saying that's me, then I want you to know you're not alone. There are so many of us on this path, learning how to love ourselves again, one gentle choice at a time. So please take a moment now to subscribe if you haven't already. We're building a space here, a space where women over 50 don't fade, we rise. And if you know a friend who might need this message, someone who's been feeling a little stuck, a little unsure, send this to her. Not as advice, but as a gentle invitation back to herself. You can also save this video to come back to before your next salon visit. It might be the quiet nudge you need to choose differently. Thank you for spending this time with me. Your presence here, your willingness to listen, to reflect, to try again. It's beautiful, just like you. And remember, you don't need to look younger, you just need to look more like yourself. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, stay graceful. If there's one thing I hope you carry with you after watching this video, it's this: you don't need permission to change, not from your stylist, not from your friends, not even from the version of yourself who chose that haircut 10 years ago. You're allowed to outgrow things quietly, gracefully, and without apology. You're allowed to choose again, because the woman you were then is not the same woman you are today, and she won't be the same woman you're becoming. That's the gift of this season of life. We're not here to fight time, we're here to walk with it, to rise with it, to soften into ourselves, not disappear inside old shapes that no longer feel like home, and that includes your hair. Because something as small as a softened edge, a lifted layer, a gentle bevel, can do more than change how others see you. It can change how you see you. So if you're standing at the edge of a decision, whether it's about your haircut, your style, or something deeper, let this be your quiet permission slip. You're not starting over, you're continuing, evolving, expanding. You are not done, you are still becoming. And that's a beautiful thing. If this message touched something in you today, if it reminded you of your own worth, your own softness, your own strength, I invite you to share it with someone who might need it, with someone who might be waiting for a sign. Save this video if you think you'll need to hear it again one day. And if you haven't yet, I'd love for you to subscribe. Not just to this channel, but to the idea that your beauty, your voice, and your presence still matter deeply. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing yourself today and every day forward. This is Grace over 50. And we're just getting started.